Alright, it's only me. I thought I'd come on tonight and do a wee video talking about music because I again like to talk about the music, and I'm on the night to talk about Iron Maiden. Just before I start here, but this video I'm probably going to get stuck in the weeds and it might go on for a wee bit, but hey, I'm going to stick with it. I'd like to, before I start, to just say that this is part 2. I've not done part 1 yet, but part 1, when it eventually gets done, it'll be covering the years from 1980 to 1989, and when I eventually do that video, it'll just be mostly a video of glowing praise for everything that Iron Maiden brought out in that time, because in the 1980s Iron Maiden were like the Led Zeppelin of the music, the heavy metal music world, because they never really put a foot wrong and they were world leaders. I started this video because this video is real ups and downs for the last 30 year Iron Maiden, starting from 1990, which is at the point where the classic Iron Maiden lineup, the world beating lineup, the world beating team, if you like, put it in Iron Maiden's terms, because Steve Harris likes the Fitbit. So the world beating team, singer Bruce Dickinson, Steve Harris on the bass, Dave Murray and Adrian Smith on guitars, and Nickel McBrain on the drums, which had made what, 1, 2, 3, 4 world beating studio albums and a classic live album. But then at the end of 1989, guitar player Adrian Smith decided to leave and was replaced by Yannick Gers, who had been in Bruce Dickinson's solo band at the time, the Tattooed Millionaire album. So that's a quick bit of background there. So I'm going to get started and just pick up here with the No Prayer for the Dying album, which came out in 1990. This is the kind of 1998 reissue here with the different artwork, slightly different for the album cover when it came out, which I've got on LPs in there, but I couldn't be bothered digging it out, so I just thought I'd use the CDs for this. But this cover's actually better. In there covers it, there's an old guy standing here looking as if he's going to get strangled by a slightly more cartoony Eddie. Talking about this album, see, that was the thing. This came out on the heels of the Seventh Son album, which I pure loved. And the first single after this was a song called Holy Smoke, which is the second track up there. And I remember when I heard it, I knew there was something up. I knew there was, this was a different style of Iron Maiden. It was as if they were trying to hark back a bit and strip back their sound after the kind of grandiose, kind of epic. I'm going to try not to use that word epic too much, but Seventh Son of a Seventh Son was epic, but they try to strip it back here, and they kind of got it wrong. For my money, this is a step back for heavy metal and more into a kind of hard rock style. I remember hearing this Tail Gunner when it came out. It was like, that's like a poor man's Aces High, and oddie songs on it. When I'm looking at the track list, the only ones I can really remember liking were the song Fate's Warning and Mother Russia at the end, which is a kind of attempt by Iron Maiden to do a kind of wee Russian-y song. But they're all there getting their 4010 in a graveyard. The worst heavy metal idea ever, probably, is getting your 4010, because there's nothing more heavy metal than getting your 4010 with hundreds of dry ice in a graveyard. So No Prayer for the Dying, unfortunately, I can't no mention Bring Your Daughter to the Slaughter either. Actually, it would be wrong for me not to mention that. It's Iron Maiden's only #1 single, and a lot of folk will tell you that Iron Maiden's the most heavy metal band ever. They're not going to try and have hit singles now. What a load of crap. If you go and listen to songs like Run to the Hills or Flight of Icarus or Can I Play With Madness, with all the layered harmonies and big choruses and everything, without a doubt Iron Maiden were going for a big hit single probably ideally in Americas, because they had big hit singles in Britain. Ken, they were constantly in the top 10, and Bring Your Daughter to the Slaughter got to number 1. But what you need to remember is, at the time, I think it was Christmas. I think it was Christmas 1990, and they brought the record out in, I think it was about 6 different formats of picture discs and all this kind of stuff. And Ken, it was straight into number 1, straight back out. It was like every Iron Maiden fan had went and bought every format. So it was like hyping the record, jumped in there, Ken, Bring Your Daughter to the Slaughter. And that's one of the songs that folk, because it went to number 1, folk are like, hoo, Bring Your Daughter to the Slaughter. And you're like, no, no. So, I mean, No Prayer for the Dying there, it's down the bottom, near the bottom of Iron Maiden for me, Ken. It's no good. And Ken, that's the thing with this video I'm doing here, Ken. There's folk willing to agree with me. Oh, how can you say that about Iron Maiden? But Ken, I'm saying it, Ken. These aren't the records that I want to go back and listen to with any affection at all. Next up, Fear of the Dark, same lineup. This is a first for Iron Maiden as well. The cover here is the first one that was ever done by a different artist than Derek Riggs, who had invented Eddie. And if memory serves, it's a guy called Melvin Grant that does it. It's a kind of nice idea with Eddie coming out of a tree, but I don't really like the kind of sideways Iron Maiden thing either. Is just one of the kind of traditional kind of folk. And here we've got Iron Maiden falling into the trap that a lot of other bands would make and keep making. Ken, if you watch any of these videos where I talk about this, it's back in the days with the constraints of vinyl, you had like 40 minutes. Ken, you had to have 40 minutes worth of really good music, and Ken, 40 minutes is a nice wee kind of running time. Ken, it was like between 35 and 50 minutes, but ideally around about 40 minutes, just a nice wee enough. Whereas Iron Maiden and just about every airborne start putting far too much stuff on albums and just watering them down. Ken, if they cut a few of these songs out, probably a lot better. Saying that, Ken, there's nothing on here that really gets us excited either. Ken, the title track, Fear of the Dark, without doubt is a great Iron Maiden live track on the album. It's a good song, but it really comes to life live. Ken, when you can hear the crowd singing it, there's some absolute crap on this album. Ken, there's some good songs as well, but there's some, Ken, that Weekend Warrior song, that's rubbish. Wasting Love, which is Ken, at the time it was like, oh, Ken, Iron Maiden are doing ballads, Ken, acoustic guitars and stuff. I don't want that. I want heavy metal. Fear is the Key is a kind of weird, kind of Eastern style, kind of try to tap into the Led Zeppelin kind of thing there. But I thought Afraid to Shoot Strangers was quite a good song, and Ken, The Apparition was kinda interesting. Judas My Guide, kinda, it'd have been a good album track on something like Power Slave or something, but Ken, there must have been something seriously wrong here, because they went out and did a tour on this album and Bruce Dickinson left. And I've already done a video talking about Iron Maiden live albums last year. I can't remember really much what I said, but they went out and this was a real live one come out, which was stuff off the newer albums, and the one with this cover was called The Real Dead One, which was all the stuff that had been on up to Live After Death. I think it was in between the two of them coming out. I think this one had come out, and in between the next one coming out, Bruce Dickinson announced he was leaving. We went to see the Bon at the SEC, and it was just like the weirdest gig ever. It was as if, Ken, how could you get into it when you knew somebody was leaving? And it brought that out as well. Kind of played Donington 92, headlining. Much smaller crowd, although the restrictions were put on after the Donington 1988 gig was like 100 odd thousand, although there'd been an accident, folk had got trampled and a couple of guys died, so they'd put back the they had restrictions on attendance. I think it was like 65,000 there, although by a weaker bill, which included like the almighty Wasp and who else was there that year? Thunder. So no, the 1990 Thunder, it was like 1992 Thunder. So anyway, moving on, I don't talk about live albums too much. So Bruce Dickinson left, and then they were pure looking for a singer. They were adamant that they were going to get somebody that was British, and it came down to a couple of guys. It came down to, I believe it came down to Dougie White and Blaze Bayley. Again, neither really an ideal choice for me. Who would I went for? I would either went for Tony Moore out of Riot or Bernie Shaw, Uriah Heep, who have both got that voice that they need. Kenny, you need to remember at this time, this is in the middle of grunge rock. Kenny, you're talking about 1994. You're talking about Rob Halford's left, Judas Priest, Bruce Dickinson's left, Iron Maiden, AC/DC's disappeared. Ken, they're only bringing out albums every 5 years. I mean, heavy metal's on its arse here, Ken. It's like Nirvana and stuff. So you're looking for your big hitters, your big guns to be bringing out good albums. So Iron Maiden hired Blaze Bayley purely on the strength of the fact that he had been quite a good work with the crowd pretty good when he supported them in the No Prayer for the Dying tour in 1990, which again, as a singer, I don't really rate him much at all. I don't want to. It's no Blaze Bayley's fault that he was a singer in Iron Maiden. He got gave the job by Steve Harris, who thought he could do it. But for me, Bruce Dickinson's an amazing studio singer. Not so much a great live singer, but when you're bringing in Blaze Bayley with a kind of really flat voice. It was 1995 before they brought out this album, which is the X Factor, which at the time had a different artist again. This isn't even art. It's like a kind of model that they photographed there. And I remember I got this in cassette at the time, and I remember thinking, hey, this is going to be brilliant. And then I remember so me and Helen stayed up in our first house, and I can remember putting the tape, because it was a tape I got at the time, into the hi-fi. And after the first track, Sign of the Cross, pretty good. After that, it was like, what the hell's going on here? Really, really slow, ploddy. What else would you call it? Just tuneless, boring. Lasts for about an hour, doesn't go anywhere. There's another song, they released a single before it as well, come in, a song called Man on the Edge, but the lyrics is based on the Michael Douglas film Falling Down. And that was pretty good upbeat track. It was like, this is Iron Maiden. But see, the rest of that album, I've tried and tried and tried, but there's nothing in it to make you go back and keep listening to it. So, I mean, I'm not one to spend too long talking about something that's not very good, but that's really dark and really, and that's the other thing, we need to remember here is all the Iron Maiden albums up to this point were produced by Martin Birch, who had done Whitesnake, Rainbow, you name it, Black Sabbath, Blue Oyster Cult, Wishbone Ash. Martin Birch had one of the top producers ever, maybe even the best record producer for rock music ever. But with X Factor they switched over, and Steve Harris had been kinda helping Martin Birch to learn what was going on, and with this album he took over with a guy, I think it was Nigel Green he was working with at the time. But Steve Harris, for me, shouldn't have been indulged, because great songwriter, great bass guitar player, but he edited that Made in England video, which kinda turned out alright, but he's done a couple since then, and he can't edit videos. I don't think he realises that folk want to watch something, and they need to have it for like 10 seconds, because he did, what was the one he did? He was Death on the Road, and I nearly in an epileptic fit watch. I could only watch it once. I couldn't watch it again. It was like a cut every 2 seconds. And it was like, Jesus, making me ill. And I can't concentrate, especially if you play the guitar or whatever. You gotta watch what the guitar player's doing. You can't see a bloody hang. And the same for producing records. He's not a record producer at all. After this, I think everybody knew that there was something up, because they brought out this record called Best of the Beast, and I think this is a 2 CD version. I had this the 1 CD version, but there is a nice wee boxed edition of this one. But a new song on it at the start, Virus, Blaze Bailey sang, absolute crap. And then I think the first 4 songs there are Blaze Bailey era, and a couple of Paul Di'Anno ones at the end. But this is very much looking at the glory years with Bruce Dickinson. You're talking about just about a full, where's the state here? There you go. For the clairvoyant to the end there in the second CD, more than half of this is the glory years for the 1980s. So I think they even knew themselves that they were in a bit of trouble here. Although to be fair at the time, I'm pretty sure that Bruce Dickinson and Adrian Smith were probably the ones that were pushing the band in maybe a kind of radio friendly direction, if you like, as if they understood that they had to get on the radio to get more fans in. Whereas I think the lineup with Blaze Bailey and Yannick Gers is probably more a true heavy metal band that weren't really interested in that. But how smart that was for their career, I don't know. So here we move on to 1998 with the Virtual 11 album, or Virtual X1, whatever you want to call it. And I remember getting this and thinking it was a wee bit of an improvement on the X Factor, but at the same time, there's no really an improvement on the X Factor purely because it wasn't as boring. Future Real is a nice wee 3-minute Iron Maiden quick song. It's probably the last time they made a song, probably around about 3 minutes as well. The Angel and the Gambler, 10 minutes of your life you'll never get back. It's just repeats on and on. Don't you think I can save you? It's like, and even it's not even heavy metal. It's like hard rock. It's like the Who. It's got a really stupid parpy organ through it. The Klansman. Folk are always like, oh, aye, but the Klansman, as if it's like some kind of saving grace. It's all right. It's no Power Slave or something, or anything like that. What else? God's sake, man. Two Worlds Collide. Educated Fool. Never really liked that one much either. Don't Look to the Eyes of the Stranger. This was run about when writing choruses for Iron Maiden songs just became repeating the title hour and hour, because that's all that happens here. It's just Blaze Bailey singing don't look to the eyes of a stranger, like 5-10 times, who knows. So Iron Maiden's on their arse here, playing at the Barlands and stuff. A part of the Iron Maiden legend that's been buried is the fact that they were playing very, very small venues at this time. You think of the stadium hopping band that they are now. Here, I'm trying to get stuck in the weeds here, man. I'm spending too long talking about it. Next up, look, check this. Headhunter, this at the time was again for the PC, where they had it was very early days of the internet, and they had it was like an online poll to pick the top 20 Iron Maiden songs, and that was what made it into the soundtrack for the video game, which was alright. It worked on Windows 98. I sat and played it a few times. It was good to hear the Iron Maiden songs, and but if you look at that, I know it was current at the time, but there's no way in hell that nowadays Future Real's coming in at number 5 on the top 20 Iron Maiden songs, or Be Quick or Be Dead, or Man on the Edge. Some quite bizarre songs showed up in there. Moving on, that's the Headhunter video game, another compilation with the glory days very much in the trying to sell some records. So round about this time there'd been a kind of on again, off again running battle with Bruce Dickinson, who by this time had Adrian Smith in his band and was making pretty good heavy metal albums. The albums that Bruce Dickinson made in the time that Iron Maiden were making the X Factor and Virtual 11 were actually better than Iron Maiden. You should track them down if you've not got them. There's Skunkworks, which is a kind of different, kind of alternative kind of rock album, but then he went following heavy metal with Accident of Birth and The Chemical Wedding, well worth tracking down. And I don't think this went unnoticed because overtures were made to him to come back. So he came back along with Adrian Smith, which meant that they knew had 3 guitar players, which does nothing for me. I don't want to hear 3 guitar players, especially when they went on to do absolutely nothing with it. But anyway, that notwithstanding, much fanfare was made by, I think it was the Headhunter tour. They went out and Bruce Dickinson reappeared with Adrian Smith playing all the top 20 Iron Maiden songs, and then they went back in the studio and brought out this, which was Brave New World. This came out in 2000, and at the time, Ken, we're talking again about grunge rock, and Ken, the late 90s, if you were into heavy metal, it was just a terrible time. Ken, the big guns were all like dead. Ken, what did you have? AC/DC bringing out Ballbreaker, and Ken, there wasn't really anything. There was no real, Ken, Judas Priest different singer, Iron Maiden different singer, Ken, Kiss had turned into a circus, Ken, just basic things like that. Ken, Motorhead and Dio and everyone were playing in bingo halls. So Brave New World come out and it was like, hey, this is it starting back up again. And to be fair, Brave New World is a pretty good album. For me, it never as good as the 80s Iron Maiden. Ken, it never quite hit that height, but I was thinking to myself, hey, if this is a springboard to something else, it might be pretty good. But kind of some really good songs on this. The Wicker Man, Dream of Mirrors, Out of the Silent Planet. There are some, The Nomad. There's some pretty good kind of some rehash stuff and all. Like the Mercenary. Ken, these are songs that sound like kind of album tracks that would have been on Peace of Mind, Ghost of the Navigator, Ken, that kind of thing. But Ken, you really thought, aye, this could be the start of something. And Ken, Steve Harris wishing he was Jethro Tull with the song Blood Brothers. Ken wrote a song about his father, which is nice, but Ken, it's going doing that kind of folky. This is Iron Maiden starting with the kind of folky thing, which kind of crept in with the Klansmen and that kind of thing, and they kept doing it. Ken, Steve Harris just loves his 70s prog rock, and I think that was where he was wanting to take the band, but unfortunately they've not got the likeness of touch or the class as composers. Ken, it's easy for me to say, Ken, I've never done anything, but Ken, as a heavy metal band, Iron Maiden were amazing, but when they start trying to turn into something that they aren't, then God's sake. But anyway, they went and toured this big massive tour. I remember seeing them at the SEC and I think it was December 2000 with Halford supporting, which was brilliant. Although Halford, for me, were the better band on the night because they'd better sound. Because I remember the Iron Maiden mix was really tinny, and you could hear it alright when you put your head down and behind everybody run about. But see, when you put your head up, it was dead tinny and it hurt your ears. That Brave New World tour finished at Rock in Rio, brought out this album, absolutely superb live album, which I've covered on the other Iron Maiden video I did. Ken, second only probably to Live After Death when it comes to Iron Maiden albums. Ken, I don't really need to say too much more about that one. But then after that, what did they bring out after that? Again, another greatest hits. Edward the Great, exact same stuff as before. Ken, you Run to the Hills and all. You kind of still have Run to the Hills, no Paul Diano stuff on it. And I think there's maybe only There's two. Ken, it's still quite near to the Blaze Bailey era, so they've got two Blaze Bailey songs on there. With your Future Real and Man on the Edge. But Ken, the rest of it's the glory days. Ken, the rest of it, they're trading on the old days here. Edward the Great, the greatest hits. Ken, that's a nice wee stocking filler at the time or whatever. But Ken, that's 3 greatest hits album in what, 6 years. Like, next up we've got this, but they absolutely hideously covered Dance of Death for 2003. What can we say about this one? Yeah, I'd probably say that this is my favourite one out of the post-reunion Iron Maiden albums. Ken, that's not to say it's perfect, because it's no, but there's some nice songs on here. Ken, I quite like Wildest Dreams, although nothing really happens in it. No More Lies, again with the repetitive chorus, with the no more lies, no more lies, no more lies, no more lies. Again, just beating you over the head with repetitive, again, there's like, oh aye, great lyrics. Oh aye, just repeat the same line over and over again. Montseeger's a song, I never think that Montseeger gets the amount of praise that it should have got. Because that was a kind of nice, they were trying to do the heavy metal thing and the old kind of Iron Maiden swing in that one, but that, again, nobody else picked up on it, but again, that's one of my favourite songs on that album. Dance of Death is a nice wee they're doing the wee folky thing again there, but that one's actually quite good, based on Tam O'Shanter by Robert Burns apparently. A few weird songs like Gates of Tomorrow and New Frontier, even Rainmaker's a funny song. Passchendaele is a song about the First World War. Some folk go mental for it, but I just thought it was alright. Face in the Sand, Age of Innocence. But I mean, that's the thing, although they're weird songs, they're no the usual run-of-the-mill Iron Maiden stuff, because I think that was what the problem was with Brave New World, was they never really broke any new ground without sometimes sounding like some of the stuff was kind of rehashed, whereas Dance to Death they tried to kind of branch out a wee bit and do something a wee bit different, which was alright. Journeyman, quite a nice kind of uplifting song to finish the album. So at that time I was like, this could still be better, it's still too long, still too many songs, and I knew we're no running time. But I paid for the absolutely minging cover. This is actually an old bad kind of wee album where they're trying to stretch out. And then, if you were Iron Maiden, what would you do after that? You would record another live album, Death on the Road. This it's actually alright, this one. But I already talked about it before. It's just like a straight reproduction of the same set list that that's the way bands like Iron Maiden do things. They play the exact same set every night. It's a production, so if you've got to see the show in Glasgow, or you've got to see this show in New York or Barcelona, it's the exact same songs, played the exact same way. So again, nothing wrong with that. But again, money for all rope, same old crap. Here we go. Matter of Life and Death. See, I remember getting this one and thinking, hey, this could be it. This could be the Iron Maiden album where they finally deliver on the potential of Brave New World and Dance of Death, but they don't. There's something wrong with this album for me. I've sat and I've listened. I gave it 2 goes. I remember listening to it when it first came out, and then I was talking to Colin Hargreaves, and he's like, no, you need to go back and listen to it. You can get a few more spins in it, and I did. I had it in the van at work driving about for a couple of weeks listening to it. I just wouldn't catch on. I do like the last 3 songs, which is For the Greater Good of God, Lord of Light, and The Legacy. I thought The Legacy was a really good song. But the start, man, can't see that. These Colours Don't Run and Brighter Than 1,000 Stars. Jeez, oh man, it just sucking the life out of me by reading The Longest Day, the aptly named Longest Day. Out of the Shadows, a reincarnation of Benjamin Brigg, weird weird groove song. But I remember, Ken, it was like this. I don't know who this is for, but I know who it's no for. It's no for me. So I had to just write this one off, because again, too many songs, too long. Although it's only, Ken, what is it, like 10 songs or something? But they're too bloody long. Ken, you've got umpteen songs in there that are like 10 minutes long. And the thing is, there's nothing wrong with having a 10-minute long song, as long as it's just the same thing repeated over and over again, Ken. And just, Ken, folk will say, oh, Iron Maiden, it's dead progressive and it's dead epic. It's just, Ken, if you make something long, it doesn't make it epic, it just makes it long. Nothing epic about it. Ken, all these folk that talk about how progressive Iron Maiden are, you need to go and listen to King Crimson, or Ken, Close to the Edge of Yes, Ken, to find out what it is that Steve Harris is looking for. And you'll find out that Iron Maiden are no progressive, they're actually regressive, Iron Maiden. Ken, all their songs are like E minor. Ken, when Iron Maiden write a song in G sharp, then I'll start talking about them. But Ken, well, I'll get to it in a minute when we talk about the Book of Souls. But the fact that one of the songs had piano on it, Ken, when Iron Maiden have done 15 albums and folk are making a big deal because one of the songs has got piano on it, that's no progressive. It's regressive. Oh, yes. Ken, I only get angry because I really know the potential that these guys have got, and Ken, it's just, what do you get next? You get another greatest hits album, and this time they've actually went back and blatantly tell you that they want just to talk about the old days as somewhere back in time. A single CD of stuff for the 80s, which is, Ken, a nice wee reproduction there, like Power Slave mixed with Somewhere in Time and a couple of other albums, Ken, and the track listing's pretty good. But this should have been a double CD, I mean, come on now. And the thing is, you do have Iron Maiden and Phantom of the Opera, but they're the Life After Death versions with Bruce Dickinson. Ken, Bruce Dickinson can't sing Paul Di'Anno era stuff. Paul Di'Anno era stuff has to have Paul Di'Anno singing. And Ken, you're talking about Peace of Mind, you've only got one song for Peace of Mind, is it, Trooper? Ken, where's Where Eagles Dare or A Tame of Land or whatever? Ken, this should have been a double CD. Children of the Damned, Ken, great song, but Ken, what's it doing on there? Ken, when you think of the songs that aren't there, Children of the Damned shouldn't be on there. I was spending too long talking about a compilation. But I mean, Iron Maiden would never follow up a compilation with a live album, would they? Of course they would. Flight 666, where they actually toured that compilation album on a tour called the Somewhere Back in Time Tour, where they even try to reproduce the kind of classic Live After Death stage set. And Ken, I've already talked about this as well, but Ken, this is what you're talking about. Ken, when you're talking about bands like Kiss that just get ripped to shreds because of alleged kind of hyping and over the top commercialism, Ken, there's nobody worse at it than Iron Maiden. There really isn't. Ken, you can buy a tent that's got Eddie on it, you can buy trainers that have got Eddie on them. They're worse than Kiss, but nobody talks about it because they've got the best PR department in the world, where it's like, oh no, it's Iron Maiden, Ken, everything's for the fans and everything. Everything's no for the fans, everything's for the pound. It's all for the pound, it's all for the brand. So after they'd finished this pure nostalgia trip, which Ken, they do put plenty of money in the coffers and plenty of folks' arses in seats in stadiums, they went back in the studio and recorded this album called The Final Frontier, which came out, 2011, I'm thinking. Aye, see, this was a wee boxed version here. And that's the funny thing about this album, is I actually quite enjoyed this. Ken, this was a pretty good album when it came out. with the weird intro there is Satellite 15, The Final Frontier, which is kind of half a weird kind of, I don't know what you would call it. It's like a kind of wee story thing with a guy lost in space, kind of actually a bit like Space Oddity, where it's a guy stuck in some spaceship somewhere, and then the song The Final Frontier after it, pretty good. El Dorado is like somebody stuck two songs together because the verses and the chorus just don't hang together at all. And some of these other ones, Ken, Mother of Mercy, Coming Home, Nah Nah Nah, The Alchemist, there's no a million mile away for The Pilgrim on the Matter of Life and Death album. But this is where it gets good. I always thought this Isle of Avalon, Starblind, The Talisman, and The Man That Would Be King pretty good, but when the wild wind blows at the end, just too bloody long. It's a song about I think it's based on the programme when the wind blows, the cartoon about the old guy and woman, the nuclear kind of about nuclear war and what happened after it and stuff. Kind of just typical Iron Maiden fare. But I thought this was pretty good, although it got panned a lot by the punters. Ken, this was a special edition one that came out. I also got the. Ken, I'm a bit of a collector, me. So I've got the two different versions here. Ken, there's an LP records down the stair. What do you get after that? You get a live album for the tour. Ken, again for another 5 million live versions. Number of the Beast, the Trooper, and Iron Maiden. Ken, no point talking about it. Ken, it's a bit like Rock and Rio. Talked about it before. No point talking about it some more. And then after that, what do you get after that? They wouldn't do a live album. Ken, surely it must be a studio album next. No, I'd be wrong. It's a compilation album. Compilation album of the stuff I'm talking about, the new, just about. What's it called now? From Fiat to Eternity, the best of 1990 to 2010. And Ken, this was a double CD, but this could have been a single CD. Although Ken, it would have ended up only being like 7 10-minute songs long. But even then, Ken, it's the track listing. You're like, pfft. But I'm kind of bought it because I'm a fan, and Ken, I like to support my favourite bands, and I bought it. I can't mind if I've ever listened to this actually. But Ken, it's like his colours don't run and bring your daughter to the slaughter. Ken, it's all the songs that aren't as good as the ones I thought were good on the albums. So, well, another compilation, more money in the pocket. And then, Ken, surely it must be time for a studio album now. But no, it's time to go back and bring out archive recordings, made in England, 88. Ken, to be fair, Ken, we're talking about Rock and Rio and Live After Death probably being the two best Iron Maiden live albums, but that was until this came out. Ken, this is the Iron Maiden I remember when I was a boy. Ken, 1988, Seventh Son of a Seventh Son tour. Ken, don't really need to talk too much about this one either, but Ken, again, another live version of Number of the Beast, and Ken, the usual Iron Maiden. Ken, how many do you need? But Ken, this one well worth it. Ken, last tour of Adrian Smith, not rhyme with that. So eventually it was time for another studio album. It was delayed a wee bit because Bruce Dickinson had to get into hospital for I think he had cancer of the throat, which he's recovered from, thank goodness. But much hype appeared round about the Book of Souls album, and I can remember hearing a clip of it. I think it was a clip of what's the song called again now? Speed of Light, aye. Hearing a clip of the song Speed of Light and thinking to myself, they're just releasing, Ken, they're not what to give away in and it's too good. Ken, they're not going to release a clip of something that, Ken, maybe they'll bring a single out. That's just a wee clip of music. And then I go at this, it's absolutely crap. I mean, it pains me to say it. But there's nothing good on this album. There's nothing I like about it at all. And when I got it, it's a double CD. I think an hour and a half, an hour and 40 minutes. And I remember listening to it hour and hour and hour again. Think to myself, I'm just not getting it. I'm not getting it. I just need to keep listening. I must have listened to it 30, 40 times. Never got it. And eventually it was like, why the hell am I wasting my time listening to an hour and 40 minutes of music that is just doing nothing for me? It's slow, ploddy, everything on it's like the same speed, ploddy, with hundreds of stuff. It sounds like rehashed. It sounds like Iron Maiden covering like an Iron Maiden cover band trying to make an Iron Maiden album. With all the things that they developed out of the live concerts. All these songs have got their own built-in whoa-oh-ohs. For too long. The Red and the Black. God Almighty, man, that song goes on that song goes on for about as long as this video. I can talk about Iron Maiden making big, long, boring songs. I could make big, long, boring videos, but jeez, oh man, there's nothing on it, And do I need to hear Iron Maiden give me a lecture on mental health on songs like Tears of a Clown? Is that what I want? Songs like The Book of Souls that have acoustic intros and the same acoustic thing tacked on at the end, but they're only there because they're there. They don't actually have any. They don't make you feel anything. That's what music's all about. It should make you feel something. It can make you want to get up and dance, or it's good to get musicians talking down to you as if oh, we know better than you, and you need to we're going to educate you while you're listening to music. I don't want that for heavy metal music. I want to rock out. I don't want some guy that thinks he's smarter than me telling me what to think. And I think that there's a lot of rock bands that do that now, and I think Iron Maiden have fell into that category purely because they've got an army of fans, like all the big rock bands do. All the really, really big rock bands have got like an army of fans that just like the idea of what it is they are and what it is they do, and they can just bring out anything and these folk will be satisfied with it. Metallica, AC/DC, Iron Maiden, folk just want new product after them, no matter how good it is. They'll just be like, oh, it's Iron Maiden, it must be great. Oh, it's AC/DC, it must be great. And that's I wish I could be like that. I wish I could enjoy my music that way, but I don't want that. For music for me has got to make you feel something. Whether it's makes you feel as if you want to stamp your feet or nod your head or whatever, your fist clenching, or the reason why I keep buying music is because I'm looking for. Sometimes when you hear a bit of music, it's that good that it just sends I don't know what it is. It's like feeling up your back, where you're like, oh Jesus Christ, that's good. And that's why I keep buying. That's why I collect music, because I keep getting it. It's like some kind of drug, just for that feeling when you hear a bit of music, and it just makes the hair on your arms stick up. And there's none of that in the Book of Souls. Absolutely none of that in the Book of Souls, which is a shame. And there you go, the last song there, Empire of the Clouds, 18-minute epic as it's been described by Bruce Dickinson. No, for me, it's that's the one with the piano on it. Bruce Dickinson playing piano, and folk are like, "Geez, oh, Bruce Dickinson playing piano, oh, that's the best thing ever." So no, it's not. It's crap. It's an absolute waste of my time to listen to it. So I'm quite disappointed with the Book of Souls, and they're talking about Iron Maiden bringing out a new studio album, which I hope they do, and I hope they smash out of the park, because I've been a fan of Iron Maiden for like 35 years, and when they're on top, they're on top. So after that, they brought out this, which is the Book of Souls live chapter, Ken, and that's the thing, Ken, I do support the bands, because when these things come out, I buy them, and what is this? Recorded on the Book of Souls tour, which was the first Iron Maiden tour I hadn't went to for 30 years, because I was like, nah, I'm no buying that, I'm no going to see that tour, because I don't want them thinking to be buying a ticket that I liked the last record. But again, Ken, it's just songs after the Book of Souls and amongst the usual Number of the Beast, Ken, Iron Maiden, Ken, another live version of the Ken, great songs, but I don't need that many versions of them. So that's where we are now, where Iron Maiden, they were doing the Legacy of the Beast tour, which again, touring after backhoe their old songs, and they said they were going to throw a few surprises in, songs that they'd never ever played before, but that never happened. They never played in and they hadn't played before. They brought back like Flight Icarus, which they hadn't played, I think, probably since Some One Time tour. But Ken, that was it. They never, Ken, they were talking about folk, oh, they're going to play Alexander the Great. No, they never. And that's the thing, Ken, with this free guitar lineup that they've got now, Dave Murray, Yannick Gers, Adrian Smith, never done anything with it. Ken, when you think what you could do with 3 guitar players, Ken, when you go back and listen to the Power Slave album, which when they only had 2 guitar players, when you think of a song like The Duelists, there's potential in the middle of that song where you could have 3 guitar pairs playing some absolutely mind-blowing stuff. But they just have the 3 guitar players playing the exact same thing. What is the point of that? That's crap and lazy. Ken, they're too busy flying planes, playing golf and fishing and everything, Iron Maiden. Oh, I forgot to mention this. This is the last one, last wee bit before I go. I should have flung this. This should have been flung in round about 2002, round about the Brave New World era, where they brought out this. Ken, this is the holy grail of Iron Maiden collector stuff. It's Eddie's archive, and at the time it came out with the nice wee scroll there with the family tree and a pewter ring and the Iron Maiden shot glass here, which has got, Ken, it's numbered there with Eddie on the bottom, and 3 CDs. And I remember this cost me a bloody arm and a leg at the time. I can't remember, it's about 80 quid. 80 quid 2002, Ken. And I ken that box sets come out now, and Ken, I still spend a lot of money on box sets. But Ken, for what this is, 80 quid for 6 CDs with a shot glass and a metal box. Ken, at the time it was like, hey, I really needed to get it because it had the recording of the Beast of Hammersmith on it. So I had even more live versions of Number of the Beast and Iron Maiden. And there's BBC Archives, which has got more versions of Iron Maiden and the Number of the Beast. I must have 2 bloody songs. I must have about 30 different versions of them. So here's hoping for one more studio album of Iron Maiden. I hope I haven't been born then to sit and talk about Iron Maiden, but Ken, I really do love Iron Maiden, but at the same time, when they're not at their best, they really frustrate me and really make me angry, because they've got a cracking PR department that know that if they do a deal with a magazine, be it Classic Rock, Kerrang, Metal Hammer, whatever, if they do a deal and say, look, we'll let you put Eddie on the cover of your magazine, because they can, it'll sell millions of copies. If they put Eddie on the front of a magazine, they're going to sell hundreds of copies. And what did they do in return for that? They say, well, what we're looking in return for that is for you to give your album a good review. And Ken, all these albums I've been talking about here, you get like Ken, 10 out of 10, 9 out of 10, and you're like, no, these are like 6 out of 10 albums, Ken. At best, some of them, Ken, are less, because they can't edit their own stuff. Steve Harris isn't a record producer, and Ken, there's flaws there. And it's flaws because they're spoiled, because Rod Smallwood never ever puts his foot down and tells Steve Harris no, because what they need to do is get rid of Kevin Shirley now and get somebody else in to produce the records. So anyway, I've been talking about Iron Maiden for far too long, Ken. If you want to hear tip top Iron Maiden, put on anything between Iron Maiden, Killers, Number of the Beast, Peace of Mind, Power Slave, Life After Death, Somewhere in Time, or Seventh Son of a Seventh Son. Any one of the albums will knock your socks off. These ones here, it's maybe better if I recap before I bugger off. Seeing as I've been talking for about 2 hours anyway, I know a couple of sayings won't because so here we go. It's No Prayer for the Dying, absolutely not. Fear of the Dark, nope. These live albums, Iron Maiden live albums, you can't really go wrong with them. The X Factor, if you can't get to sleep, pick that one. Best of the Weekends compilation albums. Virtual 11, slightly better than the X Factor, but no really. Headhunter, obsolete now with the no having Windows 98. Brave New World, I'd pick that up. It is probably their most what's the word now? Probably their most notable record since Seventh Son of a Seventh Son. Rock and Rio, as usual. There's all compilation albums. Dance of Death, nice wee different, diverse stuff in there. More live albums. Matter of Life and Death wasn't for me. More compilations, more live albums. Final Frontier, I enjoyed it. A bit cartoony, but I still enjoyed it. And then was it Book of Souls, which is a total avoid, man. Total absolutely crap. Really crap. But anyway, I'm away now. I hope you enjoy the rest of the night. And I'm going to go down and sit with the dog and maybe watch some telly and probably get a hard time off hell. So I'm away, so have a nice night. Tatty bye.